cannot keep happening. Another former New York Jets coach has thrown his hat into the ring once he's seen that Woody Johnson has brought back Mike Tannenbaum in an advisory role, and we're going to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. Most of you probably already know who we're about to talk about right now, and that obviously is you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. But you saw the intro video. You saw what happened. Eric Mangini, former New York Jets coach, the man who coached before Rex Ryan, has now thrown his hat into the ring for being a former Jets coach now, or for being the next Jets coach now, after seeing that other former Jets head coach Rex Ryan has thrown his name into the ring, and former Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum is now involved in the Jets again. Now, taking a look at this, Mangini said that coaching the Jets again would make sense, and it says Colin because he was talking to Colin Cowherd. Because Mangini said, I just sold my house in New Jersey. I think it was just a part of an article. I obviously am not lobbying for the job, but I feel pretty good about what I did while I was there. And then moving on, he also said, I mean, we just had 3 of those guys that I coached go into the Jets Ring of Honor, and I think that we were a smart, disciplined, tough team. I didn't realize we were getting the band back together, bringing Tannenbaum in. It's like any other situation. There's a lot of things you can do with an organization from a vision and a principle standpoint, and I feel good about what I did when I was there. Now, in my opinion, Matt, seeing this, what he said, talking about being disciplined and hardworking, it is precisely what the Jets need, and it's why we have hyped up Rex Ryan in recent weeks after both of us kind of being a little less interested in bringing Rex in. Look, Eric Mangini, it'd be a similar thing to where you're going to get a disciplined, hard-nosed team, and the Jets this year, here's 2 things that they're not. They're not hard-nosed, and they are far from disciplined. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, as the way you said it, he's playing Madden out there with all these hot routes and everything. It's clearly led to a bunch of delay games. The Jets they don't seem disciplined. They don't seem coached at all, honestly. And I was going to say it's no one's fault, but that's absolutely not true. It's not no one's fault. It's Woody Johnson's fault. But it's really this situation of, look, I'd rather us not keep going back in time farther than Rex Ryan. I'd rather it be Rex Ryan between these 2, but both of whom were better coaches than what the Jets have had over the last 7 years, 6 years. So, really, I mean, dating back, Rex Ryan is still the best, most recent Jets coach. He's better than Todd Bowles. Literally everyone's better than Adam Gase, make sure to like. And also, he was better than both Ulbrich and Saleh. I'd still rather move forward, but we know the Jets are not going to be the team to get Ben Johnson because everyone's going to throw him an offer, Matt. I mean, it's interesting to see, but at the end of the day, for me, it's if Eric Mangini gets fat again, then I'm down. Because what happened to fat coaches, Matt?
Bringing the band back together? What? Why doesn't this happen to any other teams, Chris? Why is it always the Jets that are the focus of these ridiculous theories? I mean, we're going back to the time where where this guy's a coach for 3 years, 10-6 his first year, above 500 in 1 of the other 2 years. Is that what we're going for? Like, is that the standard that we're trying to get to?
It's
is
better
that
than what we had.
I understand that, but that's not going to make the playoffs. Yeah. Is that really what Woody Johnson wants? Is he going to look at this team and go, "Oh, I think I really want to get a coach who might be able to win 9 games." He won 10 games 15 years ago, 16 years ago, something like that. This is ridiculous. Obviously, we're not going to bring this guy back. There's a reason why he hasn't been coaching for the last 16 years. Someone else can check the math on that. I'm not going to check the math on that. This is ridiculous. The Jets, they need to get the next guy. They got to take a risk on a head coach who could potentially become a Super Bowl winning head coach. We know that this guy is not a Super Bowl winning head coach because he wasn't able to. Maybe 10 wins is pretty good, but he wasn't a difference-making head coach. If he was really a good head coach, he would have gotten more than 3 years. I can't understand why Woody Johnson wants to bring back these people that he's familiar with, because the only thing the Jets have been familiar with for the last 25 years is losing. They haven't made the playoffs in 14 years, and I don't know why they would want to keep going back into their past one of the pasts that is the worst histories of franchises in the NFL. And the last 15 years. He's talking about bringing back 2 coaches from the last 15 years where they've never made the playoffs, which is the longest drought in North American sports. Why would we do anything other than look forwards? This doesn't make any sense to me. I saw this article, and when I sent it to you, I was like, I can't believe what I'm even reading. It said, I thought it was clickbait. I thought the title was clickbait when it said New York Jets head coach is interested in coming back, and it's not Rex Ryan. I was like, who could this even possibly be? I mean, what is the idea here, Chris? I don't see the upside to a hire like this, because I understand he didn't come out and say, oh, I really want to do this, but knowing that Woody Johnson makes these ridiculous decisions and makes bad decisions over and over again, I would have preferred that he, sat up there and he said, no, I don't want to come back as the coach of the New York Jets because haven't been the coach in a long time. The fact that he hasn't shut this down makes me feel like that he thinks it's a possibility, which is really scary to think, because the historically successful franchises, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, the New England Patriots, you would never see an article like this about those teams. So why is it happening about the New York Jets? Is because they're a poverty franchise, but there's only one way to change that, is to stop making mistakes that poverty franchises make. This would be right up the alley of what the New York Jets have been known to do, and it is not something I'm going to stand for. This is not something that I want to hear anything else about for the rest of my life.
Well, funny enough, Aaron Rodgers' favorite NFL insider, Diana Rossini, who we're going to do a video on that later, but he clearly just loves her. Well, she also brought this up as a potential possibility, saying, if the Jets are toying around with the idea of giving a former head coach another shot, here's a thought. Why not Eric Mangini? I know, it sounds a little wild. Mangini, currently an analyst for Fox Sports, hasn't coached since his time in San Francisco. First as Jim Harbaugh's tight ends coach in 2014, and then Jim Tomsula as defensive coordinator in 2015. But let's be real. The Jets haven't had a clear plan for winning both now and in the long term, and that's exactly the kind of vision Mangini brought to the table when he coached the team from 2006 to 2008. One of the toughest challenges in the NFL is figuring out how to compete in the moment while building a foundation for consistent success, and Mangini showed he could do both. Here's the thing, so did Rex Ryan. If we're going to go back in time, why would we go back in time 18 years? Already going back in time to Rex Ryan, there's obviously the many concerns of doing that. Why would we go back farther? And again, the only way that I would not be absolutely freaking out over this is if Eric Mangini promises to gain all the weight back and get fat again. Now, we need a fat head coach, and that's my problem, is there's too many in-shape head coaches right now. So unless Kyle Shanahan gets fired and decides to, like Aaron Rodgers, probably take a ton of psychedelics before deciding he'll go to the Jets, I want a fat head coach. Frankly, if I have to gain 200 pounds, then I think I could coach the Jets well. But if I stay looking like this, where I just have a bit of the dad bod, it's not going to go as well. Clearly, Robert Saleh was ripped, and look what happened. The Jets weren't good. Jeff Ulbricht's a former NFL player who's in shape. It has not gone well because he got thrown into the fire. Guy's a great defensive coordinator. I stand by. I'm fine with Ulbricht staying as the defensive coordinator. But I really want just a big lard boy to be our head coach again. That is what this team needs at this point in time. You need a fat guy. You need a guy who's going to pound 18 Bud Lights after the win or after the loss, sit on his couch and yell at the TV and eat some frozen microwavable dinner, and then go to sleep, wake up hungover on Monday, and go through film and yell at the players for being stupid. That is what I want out of a Jets head coach, because that is the energy we need to bring. We need to bring back fat people as coaches in football, because it's just, look at Andy Reid. He's fat. He likes burgers. He's about to go on a three-peat if things keep up. It's just a situation, and now being more serious, it's like, if you do want to bring back a former head coach, first of all, it just should be Rex Ryan. It just should be. If you're going to bring someone back, if you're going to move back in time, it just makes way more sense to do that. But at the same time, it just feels like it'd be so literally and figuratively, so backwards to just start hiring coaches who haven't been coaching in the NFL Mangini has literally not coached in the NFL in a decade. It's been a decade, and it's not like he was doing some head coaching job. He was a tight ends coach. He was doing some defensive work. It would be the most ridiculous thing ever to hire a guy who hasn't worked in the NFL in 10 years. It's not a John Gruden situation where it's like, oh, well, this guy won multiple Super Bowls or brought the Buccaneers to multiple Super Bowls. Like, no, it's not that. It's a completely different circumstance of, oh, this guy was a head coach for 3 years and then got fired. Like, makes no sense.
So there's one thing that we're overlooking for Mangini and for Rex Ryan. It's the fact that everyone who needs a head coach right now is clamoring for these two coaches. Everyone, if you need a head coach, they're saying we want both of those ex-Jets head coaches, right? The Saints fired their head coach. They want him. Oh wait, no one wants these guys as their head coaches. So why do the Jets want them? Every single time the Jets are picking up guys that no other teams want, and then when they play bad or coach badly, Jets fans are like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, it's almost as if everyone who knows football really, really well and is paid to know football because they're in the NFL, they know these guys are not going to work out. Tyron Smith, this year, not even the Dallas Cowboys wanted him back. The Jets signed him as the only team that wanted him. Woody Johnson pushed Joe Douglas to go pick up Tyron Smith. Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas decided that they didn't want any more super old players anymore, but Woody Johnson said, go get him, and the Jets were the only team to offer him a contract, and he sucked. That is, right now, it's looking like that's the same pathway that we're going down. We're going to pick up the people who no one wants to pick up, and usually they're not, the needle in the haystack. Usually people are right, and the guys the Jets get aren't good. But I don't think this is going to happen. But I've been more shocked by Jets moves in the past, so this would be kind of par for the course at this point.
I will stand by. I think there's a 0% chance that Mangini becomes the head coach of the Jets this year. It just seems so weird to hire a guy who hasn't worked in the NFL in 10 years and doesn't have some astonishing memory as a head coach. Remember, Rex Ryan, we look back on those days very fondly because of the teams that he coached. There's 2 AFC championship appearances. Since then, they haven't made the playoffs. There's a reason to understand, okay, well, at least Rex Ryan, it makes sense why the Jets would be, specifically the Jets, like, it makes sense why they'd be interested in him. Yeah, things went poorly in Buffalo, and he never got a coaching job after that. But with the Jets, it worked. So that one makes more sense to me. It's it's insane, dude. Look.
Yeah, at least Rex, when we went into those playoff games, the Jets were always the underdog because they didn't have the team to compete with whoever they're going up against. Yeah. But Rex Ryan, the guys that were in the building, he elevated their level of play, which is something that obviously Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich haven't been able to do, seeing how we've had a better roster than pretty much every single team we've played this year. We haven't played the Lions, haven't played the Chiefs. Like, I'm trying to think right now, the San Francisco 49ers aren't good this year.
No.
What roster were we not better than?
I mean, the Chiefs, Ravens, Lions are the best teams in the NFL.
Eagles, I'm putting Eagles up there. We still didn't play that. The Jets
had an easy schedule.
Pretty much the best roster in every single game, and every single game they don't play well enough. We need a coach to elevate the level of play. Rex Ryan did that 14 years ago, last time they made the playoffs. Hopefully he can do it again. I do think that there's a really, really solid chance. When I say a really solid chance, I mean like an 18% chance, which is a pretty high chance for the exacta for the coach.
Yeah.
I think there's like an 18% chance that Rex Ryan is the head coach of the New York Jets coming fall 2025.
I wouldn't be shocked, and I know I shouldn't like it, but part of me is going to find it to be so funny, and I'm really going to enjoy it.
Part of me would like it too. I mean, I definitely understand.
The energy around the team would be better.
People would at least be excited for it.
Yeah. I mean, you get excitement. You get a guy who isn't going to dance around like being kind of an asshole to people. Like, he's not going to do that. Like, I think that Rex, I think the Jets, especially when seeing Sauce Gardner having this very strange year and Rex Ryan being a defensive coach, it feels like that stuff like that. Garrett Wilson dropping that ball, like, it's stuff like that where there's going to be real consequences of players doing that. He's not going to care. Like, it's going to be good to see that, but you could also find other head coaches that have been coaching since then who are going to be the same way, and that is what makes the most sense. Frankly, it feels like Woody Johnson's going to close his eyes and point at someone for the next Jets head coach. That's what I imagine.
No, he's probably going to close his eyes, and he's going to have Peyton Manning guide his arm on like a board and be like, this guy. And he'll be like, okay. He's going to open his eyes, and it's going to be like, it's probably going to be the Rizzler.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, if Peyton Manning's there, like, there's a 95% chance it's just his own forehead. Because why is it growing over time? Like, it makes no sense.
Well, that's what happens to guys. Their hairline gets worse as they age.
Yeah, but also it looks like his forehead has just gotten worse.
Well,
Look,
also because he's probably learning more football tactics and stuff, and they just all get stored up there.
okay, nice. Well, I mean, if Peyton Manning wants to get fat, then I'd love for him to be the Jets head coach. But if he doesn't want to get fat, I have no interest in that.
He might be a good enough football mind that he could be skinny and still be a solid head coach.
I want a fat guy. What happened to fat guys, guys? Let us know down below what happened to fat NFL head coaches. We see the best coach in the NFL right now is a fatty. And they're about to go on and win another Super Bowl. This is what we need in New York. Or I guess East Rutherford, New Jersey. Same thing, I guess, because New Jersey's not really a place. Guys, let us know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We are going to stay talking about the Jets. And probably I'm going to keep pushing for fat people to be running the team. Guys, have a great day, and go fat people.